Good day everyone, so hope you're all doing really well. Let's go for a bit of a change of pace and analyze Furina's trailer. So for me, this character trailer is an absolute Furina out of 10. It is really good, and I think there are obviously a lot of little hidden Easter eggs that we're going to look at in this video, but also to look at a bit more of Furina's character. So basically, she's putting on this show. It's in essence her Furina de Fontaine, and it is just so cool. But what it's showing is also a lot of her insecurities and how she's like projecting this onto her like Furina world. And that's actually what I want to discuss in today's video. So hopefully you guys will find this interesting. So right off the bat, what we can see is Furina saying to Clorinde, you know what, my dear Vestal, this is not a foe you can handle lightly. Fret not, for it is I who shall dispose of such a foul being. And ordinarily what you'd expect is that the champion bodyguard like Clorinde, who's like a champion duelist, she's supposed to protect you against a significant threat, and in this case the threat is just a little cute little seal here, and you can see Clorinde is just looking at this and it's like, seriously, this is what I'm protecting? So there's obviously a very big contrast here, and you can see this is how Furina is in essence projecting her lack of strength in this imaginary world. She's really trying to compensate for the fact that she is pretty much like the Aqua from that show with Megumin and so on. She's literally like the little useless goddess, which is so funny. And you can see as she's incredibly smug. They're bullying the little crab, which is just like really comical. In any case, so if we move like a bit forward, you can see here Furina is dancing. So she's dancing here with the octopus and obviously introducing him. This is my little favorite part where she just absolutely hugs the little seahorse. Look at that, spraying all the bubbles. And now here comes a funny part. So Furina is actually now doing rock, paper, scissors, and she's playing against the crab. So obviously the crab can only play scissors, and Furina, you know, is being a bit of a jerk here, so she's playing rock, guaranteed to win. And you can see is she's just so happy, she's like pointing and laughing at him, and he's just like, seriously, Furina, is this the game we're playing? You could see, I thought this was just such a comical scene, pretty good. But so if we like move on here, you can obviously now see Furina doing a bit of a parody of all of the other Archons. So here is the green and showing basically Nahida swinging across like the stage, very happy, very cheerful. So this is typically representative of Nahida. The next part here is obviously with Venti. As you can see, there is the little liar, and obviously she's now trying to impersonate him. So a very good parody on the Archon so far. And what we can now see is obviously the Raiden Shogun one, which I think is the most funniest. So you can see here, she's like doing the little pose that Raiden is doing with the hands that are like showing up, or what do you call it, doing the little meditation sign. It's absolutely hilarious what Furina is getting up to. And then obviously finally here with Morax, where she's just throwing out lots and tons of Mora to a crowd, and everyone is just obviously cheering it on. So clearly Furina is living in her own world. She's the center of attention. This is pretty much in tune with her character, and you can now see obviously here when she does the outfit swap how she's got all the attention on her. But it's not just about taking a photo of her, but it's about getting the perfect shot for the perfect character. And I think if we just look here in a moment, she's even telling Charlotte here, you know, step aside because I'm going to give you like the perfect angle and so on. So this is the contrast. You've got this little Charlotte way in the background with a tiny camera, and here Furina is front and center stage with the big camera, ready to really take like a scoop in terms of all the action. And I thought this was also quite hilarious. And here comes a bit of what I think really demonstrates Furina's own projection of her insecurities really well. So Child is obviously someone that's not afraid of a fight. He's not someone to run away from things, whereas Furina is obviously someone that is a lot more scared and a lot more like aware. She doesn't want to fight. She told the Traveler and to Child she was like taken aback when they challenged her to a duel, and you can see how she's projecting that onto Child here with the cute and adorable little Melusine scenes chasing Child. Look, the meta scenes can't really harm anything. They literally can't harm a fly, and here they're attacking Child. So this is such a funny and interesting contrast and projection of Furina's own insecurity that she's putting here onto Child, which I thought was really interesting. The other interesting one here is where she's mocking Nouvellette. So obviously Nouvellette is static. He's got this grandiose demeanor about him. This is not ever the face you will see with Nouvellette. Ordinarily, Nouvellette's the one that's like, gods, arrest them. And now you almost have like, gods, take Nouvellette away, as a bit of a contrast. So clearly, she's projecting quite a lot of herself in this image, the one that is always like, especially when she lost the trial to the Traveler and to all the others, a lot of that insecurity and uncertainty that you can see here that's being displayed on Nouvellette's face, that is actually what Furina is projecting onto him, but this is almost like a mirror, really reflecting how she is feeling, if you get what I mean. And to me, I just thought that this entire scene was so funny. And rather than this being a very antagonistic scene, I actually think this really says more about Furina than the scene itself. Here, obviously, we have a bit of a recount towards the opera house, Furina being very like amazed with the magic and so on, and Lenny being the one now finally trapped in the glass, because he was obviously trapped in the trial and all of that. And here Lynette is obviously like showing that to him. So this is just her projecting perhaps like some of those past experiences in terms of seeing the magic show and the trial. Here she is just helping poor little Freminette, because he is just like, well, it's quite interesting because I don't think there's a lot you can read into this. I think this is more just for like comic effect and so on. But in a certain sense, Freminette's a really good diver. So him needing help from Furina could be some sort of a projection of her being uncomfortable with the fact that the entirety of Fontaine is drowning. But I think perhaps we might be reading a bit too much into that, so I'll just skip that. And then we can obviously see here now Clorinde and Resley like, you know, standing in contrast to each other. So they are very good allies that fought together, and now the contrast here is them like almost like facing off against each other. Clorinde obviously being like the champion duelist, and Resley, well, he's the god of the entire prison. No one messes with him. So these are the, arguably outside of Nouvellette, the two most strongest characters that we have in Fontaine. And to Furina, this is just more entertainment, another show that she's just going to take. So now I want to bring your attention here to what's actually happening with the entire like sequence here playing in reverse. You'll see now that Furina is putting back a little you can see it, there is his head properly from Renee's head. You can see a boom pops it back on. It's interesting that we didn't get to see this in the initial cut, because they put the camera angle a bit upwards, but there you can see she's actually just putting it back on. There's Child going in reverse, and then obviously here enters Furina's elemental burst, and this musical sequence was just absolutely gorgeous. The beat drop, the singing, it was so good. But look here, the characters themselves are also joining in. Obviously the orphans on your right, and here you can see Nouvellette, Child and Resley on the left. They obviously all are like thematically linked, so the trio here is linked with what we saw in the Archon quest, and obviously these characters were like more linked towards the first act and so on. In any case, so here is Furina's stage. You can see here it is looking so beautiful. I thought this screenshot or this like time stopping and like panning the camera really showed how beautiful this effect is. Absolutely delightful. You can see the stage lights and everything. And what is Furina going to do? Well, whilst everything's happening in the background, you know, the enemies need to be fought and so on, she's once again sitting there and letting everything play out. Basically, she is the one that's just reveling in all the chaos that's playing, and obviously all of this is just a big act finally to like commemorate her as the main character. So there's quite a lot that was shown in this trailer, but I think fundamentally this was to give us a sense of Furina's inner world, some of the subtle insecurities that she is projecting, as well as the confidence that she has to being a true like showman or showwoman being able to entertain the crowds and really live as her role as a mascot of Fontaine. So I thought this was really befitting of a character, and in contrast to the previous trailers, it really does then leave the question, what is then all of this deception about? Why do we have this contrast between this happy trailer and the sad trailer we had, like, or the demo that we just had before this? And that is something that'll obviously be answered tomorrow when 4.2 drops. But to me, it's interesting to see this, and I hope they can really either give us a proper twist in the story, or they do some really awesome deep character development with Furina to give her identity a bit more of a solid basis, because a lot of this is just fanfare, it's showmanship, but it's really lacking a good solid foundation. Nouvelette's obviously someone with that solid foundation, and he just needs to find his way in terms of like coming to terms with what his role is as a judge and how he should relate to humanity, obviously with the lack of emotions and all of these things. And I thought Nouvelette's story was like pretty good, but now we need that character development to shift over to Furina, and that's what I'm looking forward to. In any case, let me know what you guys thought of this. This is just my impressions. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the little slowdowns here, and you could see some of the Easter eggs that the devs and so on obviously put into this. Thanks for watching.